Hello everyone, welcome to our video series on data science using Python. In this video, we are going to see about the Pandas library. So we will see introduction to Pandas, then how to import data into Jupyter Notebook, then create copy of original data, attributes of data, indexing and selecting data. Okay, so let's get started. Let's start with a brief introduction to Pandas. So Panda library provides high performance, easy to use data structures and analysis tools for the Python programming language. It is an open source Python library providing high performance data manipulation, analysis tools, okay, using its powerful data structures. And the name Panda was derived from the word panel data, which is an econometrics term for multidimensional data. So let's just see that how to import the library and then how we can read our file. Let's just import NumPy also for further operations, okay, if it will be needed. And then there is the method read CSV because we have to read a CSV file. So here our file name is toyota.csv, okay. So this is the data set which you can download also. And then we have to print the data frame, okay. So this is our data frame, okay. And there are columns in that, automatic, CC, age, price, unnamed, okay. Now, what we are going to do, we will see one more thing inside this, that when we are reading the data frame, so we can do, you can see there is one indexing which is provided by the data frame, which is provided by the Panda library automatically, and there is one indexing which is given by the data set toyota.csv, which is already in that, and one indexing is being provided by the Pandas library. So what we can do, we can just combine it, means we can just do what, we can just make only one indexing. So for that, what we have to do, we can just add here index call equals 0. Okay, so n is missing, index call equals 0. So now what will happen, now you will see one unnamed column has been removed, and now the indexing is beginning from the original one, means the indexing was provided by the Pandas library. So now this is only one indexing for our data set, okay. So this was one of the uh, parameters you can say that you can use when you're using the method read underscore CSV, okay, to make your default index column. Then let's just see how to create the copy of original data. So for that, what we can do, first of all, there are two ways, okay. One is shallow copy and the other one is deep copy. So let's just start with the shallow copy. So shallow copy means that the copy which we are going to do of the data frame, it will refer, means the reference will be only the data frame, means the data frame reference all, the data set of the will be the same, distorted or CSV, and the shallow copy which we are making now, that will be also same, but the memories locations will be different. And one more thing is there, that if we are going to make any changes to this sam object, okay, means this df dot copy, the shallow copy object, if you're going to make any changes is the sam, so that changes will be reflect in this df also, okay, in this data frame also. So when we are using the shallow copy, so whatever the changes we are going to do in this sam, that will reflect in the df also, and whatever the changes we are going to do in the df, that will reflect here also, okay, because they are referencing one data set only. Then there is deep copy, okay. So for doing the deep copy, we have to just make the deep parameter as true, So now it is a deep copy. So they will be stored in different memory addresses. Okay, but they will refer to a different means they will refer to a different data set also. They are not referring to same data set. Means now it is the original copy. So if you'll make any changes to the sample one, so it is not going to affect the data frame DF, and whatever the changes you are going to make after that in DF, that will also not going to affect in sample one. Okay, so this is the difference between shallow copy and deep copy. And how you can do deep copy, you have to just make the deep true, and if you have to do shallow copy, so you can make the attribute deep equals false. Then let's check the attributes of data. Okay, means what are the attributes which are most commonly used. So let's start with the data frame index. Okay, which is used to get the index row labels of the data frame. Okay, so let's just do what, let's create a x, then df dot index, and then let's just print x. So we will get the indexes. Okay, and you can see the data type, it is int64 index, and then inside a list we are getting all our indexes starting from 0 and whatever it is ending till 1436. Okay, means the total number of indexes are, if you'll count from 0, so it is 1436, but the numbering is still, because it is starting from 0, so numbering is still 1435 only. Okay, so this is how you will get all the indexes. Then there is one data frame dot column. So this is used to get the column labels of the data frame. And how to use this, so you have to just write the name of your data frame, and then you have to put dot columns, and you have to run the cell, so you will get all the names of the columns, okay, inside a list. And you can see the data type also, it is referring to as object, because as we know that the columns are also called as the variables, which has all the uh, data types stored in that. So that's why it is referring to as object in this. Now let's just, the next attribute is data frame dot size, which is used to get the total number of elements from the data frame. So it is also very simple. You have to just write df.size, and when you press run the cell, then you will see that the total number of elements are 1400, oh no, it's 14,360. Okay, then the next is the shape, that how to find the shape. For that there is a attribute dot shape, so we have to apply it like this. So this will give you the shape, okay, of total rows and columns present in our data frame. This is the shape of it. Then there is data frame dot memory uses. Okay, so this will give you that how much memory has been used by each column. Okay, so for that you can see the syntax also, that is syntax is also given, that first of all you have to apply dot memory underscore uses, then you have to apply inside the list, means inside the square braces you have to apply the index, and then the deep copy of that. Okay, so df dot memory uses, then x, because as you can see we have stored the index in x, and our deep copy we have done it samp1. So we will write samp1. So when we'll run our cell, first of all you can see the data type is int64. Okay, all the values are in integer format, and then there is index, which has the value 11,488. Price is also, means all the columns have the same memory uses. Okay, which is 11,488. Then the next attribute is, that is for checking the dimensions. So for that we can use dot n dimension, ndim. So let's check that. So you have to just write the name of your data frame, then dot ndim, which stands for number of dimensions. So our data set toyota.csv, it is of 2D, 2 dimensions. So that way it is referring to. Now let's just see our next topic, that is indexing and selecting data, that select how we can perform indexing and how we can select our data in data frame. So first of all, there is head, data frame dot head, okay, and inside the head we can put the quantity, that from how means from the upwards, how many means from the top, how many rows we want to access. So for that, first of all, you have to write the name of the data frame, then dot head. Inside the parentheses, you have to write the number of, suppose I want 4 from top, I want 4 rows. So I'll just df.head, I'll write inside the parentheses 4, and it will print me the top 4 rows. But what if we will not put anything inside the head method? So if we will not put, so by default it will take 5. So by default it is going to print 5 rows. Now the head is used for getting the rows from top. Then there is tail also. Now same thing, it will do the opposite. Tail will print from the bottom. So suppose I want from bottom last 2 rows. So I'll just write 2. So it will give you the last 2 rows. And by default, the same thing goes here also. If you are not going to put any values inside the parentheses, so it will also going to take by default 5. So it will print the last 5 bottom values. Okay. So you can see 14, 31, 32, 14, 33, 34, and 14, 35. So these head and tail, they are useful for quickly verifying the data. Means suppose after sorting or appending rows, you can just see the data, see the sample of the data, you can say. Okay. Then for accessing a scalar value, okay, so for accessing, these were for seeing a sample data after appending rows or sorting. Now when you have to access the data, so the fastest way to access the data, a scalar value you can say, is AT and IAT method. So let's just do what, let's see them also. So there is AT. This AT provides label based scalar lookups. Okay, so it is very easy. We have to just write the name of our data frame, df.at, then the square braces, and you have to first write the row, in which row you want to look up your data. So it is in 2, means we want to look up in second row. Then you can just give the name of the column, okay, in which we want to see that particular data from the second row. So suppose I want to check for the doors, that how many doors are there in the second row. So for that, I'll just write the name of the column. Okay, so it is giving us 3. Let us check. So in 2, there were 3. Okay. Now I have to check in the first row. So for the first row, because the indexing is starting from 0, so we have to write here 0. So I'll give 0, and it is giving us 3. And if we'll check here in the 0, in the doors, there are 3. So yes, it is working. So this is the very fastest way for the lookups. Now, this was by giving the names. Then there is IAT, in which you have to mention, means in which you have to give the values in integer format. So then there is IAT. For that we can use IATs. So let's see how we can use that also. So you have to write the same way, only instead of doors, you can just directly give the integer values. So I want to give 5, okay, for the fifth row, and for the fifth row I want to print the doors only. So doors is present at the 8. So let me give it like this. So it is 3. Now let's check giving 0. Yeah. So it is also working. Only difference is that when you have to give, means the values which you have provided here, if you want to give it in integer based, so you can give it like this. You can use IAT. And if you want to give in a label based, so you can use AT only. Okay. Then there is a dot LOC method. So this method is used to access a group of labels. Okay, means a group of row and columns by labels. So let's just do what, let's see that how we can use this also. So for that, dot LOC square braces, And then group means that you can access a number of groups, means a number of group of rows and a number of group of columns also. So in the rows, what we can do, we can just give starting from 0 and going till the fifth column. Then what we can give, suppose you want to check the fuel type. So we'll write fuel type. Okay. So starting from 0 to 5. So you can see the indexing also, it is starting from 0 to 5. And the fuel type is given diesel, 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 diesel. Okay. So all the fuel type are diesels. Now, you can give, suppose from the fuel type, you want to check till the doors. So what you can do, you can just give a colon, then you can write doors inside the single quotes. Okay. Now you can get the rows also from 0 to 5 and the columns also from where to where you have given, means you have written here from fuel type to doors, so you can check from fuel type to doors. So from fuel type to doors, all the columns will come and their values will be also there. Okay, till whatever the rows you have chosen for it. Okay, so this was it. I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you in the next video.